All right, let's call the meeting to order. We'll stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello, everyone. The first item on the agenda are 2 A&Rs for 190 Dudley Road. Racette Family Trust. Does anybody want to speak on behalf of? What are we looking at? What are we doing?
We're taking 2 pieces of land out of the trust, right?
So the trust was, what was left was my father's property that was put into trust. Right now, we're dividing out my mother's house, my parents' house, that is a bigger parcel, and then another section between the cart road and railroad track that surrounds my house that I'm gonna take over.
So,
There are 2 separate plans.
okay.
And they're staying within the trustee though? It's staying within the family?
Yes.
Well,
And I know you're aware if it goes out of chapter land, there are, you can sell the property outside of the family.
Yeah, we're not,
It's gonna stay in.
they're gonna take it over at some point, and
Okay, that was my only concern. I didn't know if the parcel out.
so parcel A is what's being created out of parcel B.
So like you said, there are 2 plans, so there's gonna be an A coming out of,
So
or there'll be a
jump
B
up here.
coming out of A and a C coming out of A. If I had.
So I see this is A coming out of parcel, and this is parcel B. Is all of this coming out of here?
this is my house,
Okay,
this is my house, and this is what we're taking out of here because the railroad track is here and the cart road is here, and so this is everything that we had on this 20, this part of the house.
so this is where is this house on this map?
These are 2 different plans,
Two different,
2 different houses.
2 different houses.
okay, that helps.
Yeah.
Yep, that helps. So this is where the pond is, the man-made pond across from the old farm, right?
That's
Correct.
their whole map she's referencing.
Oh, okay.
That's
So-
her house, and then they're parceling out that right, and then you're gonna
Yeah.
parcel out some of mom's right here.
Exactly.
That's what it all is.
There's over 78 acres plus.
That's a
Oh,
cross.
no, like
Dudley
100.
Road.
Yeah, well, yeah, but on this side of the road.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm taking over this to go with my house, and then we're taking out my mother's house,
So this
and the
right,
rest of it's gonna stay together as one.
who's the engineer in this?
The surveyor was my cousin, Jason Racette.
I don't want to speak for everybody. I just they don't usually present this way. but-
Yeah.
So just, I want to make sure I understand. You are now, this is your house?
Yep.
You are sectioning your house off, or you are,
I own this,
Yeah.
and the trust owns
Exactly.
this. I want to deed off of this, and then deed off of this section,
this will now be one parcel.
so eventually it'll be one parcel.
It is not currently.
It is not.
according to the plan.
That, right, so I'm gonna ask Lori, what's the purpose?
It's, as far as,
Because Jared and Ashley want to take over the farm. I want to keep what's around my house, and we want to be able to take care of my
Right.
mother's house, so if eventually we sell it or whatnot.
This is mother's.
Yes.
This is land out here, right?
No, this is the town's land.
Okay, this is across the street from the farm, right?
Yeah, this one is, it's both sides, but
Well, everything's being taken out is coming from her side.
Yes, across the road from the farm.
Across
The
the.
farm
oh,
side
yeah.
is staying the same.
Yeah, nothing's going on this side of the street.
this right here. Luann, I know that this is, but you.
Yeah, that's why
I
I
know.
can, okay,
This
so,
is this is 13 and this is 104,
This is 104, yep,
right here?
Yep.
And this is 13?
yes. She's carving out to 13. All of this is all land,
Right.
both sides of the road.
Right.
So we're working on this side of the
So,
road.
right, so right now, this is actually gonna be a separate lot.
Right, we're
over
gonna
here.
carve mom's house out of here
Okay. That's what
to
this is.
something acres. So this
I
one's
get
this
it.
carve out, and then that's
All
gonna
right,
be portioned
All
off
right.
to
all
her.
right. So we get that, this is the current house, she's sectioning off this piece of land, so she owns, so she'll keep
Right.
all of this
Right,
under a separate plot. Someday she could get rid of these lines if she wanted to.
Right,
And then over here, she is taking the pond and kind of like doing that.
right. She's creating a 2-point-something acre lot off of her mom's.
So we're creating this lot and we're creating this lot as well, so,
2 lots.
Two lots,
off
okay.
of the mother lot,
Okay.
the whole thing.
Okay.
Okay,
And everything into the, so that, I mean, I think we can still move forward, but usually you would have the existing lots represented on the plan, so you can still make sure that the existing lots have the appropriate amount of frontage and stuff. Now, I can tell that they do just by looking, because these are, these are long stretches that are more than 100 and,
Yeah, I
Is
think
she
it is
going all the
marked.
way
out.
over?
It is marked. Oh,
well, no, it's really actually not, because this right here is
Oh.
just this little piece.
is she going all the way over to here? Oh, see, that's gonna take off, yeah, see,
See, like that, so I don't know like what is left right here.
which is an issue when I go to
No.
carve out stuff.
oh, we left them enough to keep this as a,
150 frontage.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because it,
See that?
we need
See-
that
See, that
part.
doesn't show it on that.
Well, there's a million notes, let me try to read them. All right, so the parent parcel, you create 2.4. The remaining parcel will be, so it's gonna have, which will have 215 foot of frontage. Thank you.
This will be 215 here.
All right. Oh, it's crazy what you can do with glasses.
I know, you can see.
yeah, upside down.
Okay, so 215.
Okay.
he reads better that way.
Yeah, all right, so there, because one of the things we have to make sure is that we don't create a non-conforming lot by changing your boundary lines.
Yep.
Even though so this, according to note 2, the remaining land here is 215 foot of frontage, which makes sense. I mean, it's a good distance down that road. And this is now, I mean, and as long as there's 150 foot between here and here,
Right, I
which
think
there
you're
is,
right.
Yeah.
No, it's
20, and then, yeah,
it only needs to be 150,
right,
so.
right, there's plenty of,
So by creating this lot.
Yeah.
Around this, you're not.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Charlie.
yes.
Here are some checklists. There's 2. Here's another one. They're 2 A&Rs, but the same. Same people.
So we're handling it together separately?
We'll just handle it, each one separately has to be voted on.
Sounds good. Okay. It's already checked off. Making my job way too easy. Do we still want to go through it, or?
We should, we'll
Okay.
just walk through it.
So, 4 copies of Plan A.
Yeah.
Identification on the plan by name of owner of record. Yes?
Yeah.
Statement of approval under subdivision control.
Yeah.
Zoning classification,
Yeah, agricultural to
In the-
residential. to
creation of new lot, remaining lands, that is, okay.
compliance.
Notifying decision of ZBA, not applicable.
Yeah,
Name of butters. Did you have
yeah,
that?
yeah, Tyler.
Distance to nearest permanent monument,
Yep,
location of all existing buildings,
So your house is on this piece of property right here? I mean, it doesn't show it on this. I mean, I don't necessarily think that would stop us. We know where the house, right? So that's okay, right? As long as it shows that.
Yeah, okay. Location of any easement or public. Okay. 4 copies of Form A we have, 4 copies of the A&R notice stamps, we have that. Description of lots. Do you have, and the fee of 300, which we do have to check, correct?
Yep.
Excellent. Okay.
Copied in the back.
So I guess at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the plans as submitted.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Okay, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
All good.
Good. Motion passes.
Who was this for? Racette,
Oh,
Realty.
damn it, really?
They messed it all.
Geez, I'm usually late. I mean, I'm a little late.
I had to put it in the GPS. I couldn't remember how to get here. It's been
Right,
so long.
exactly.
All right. We
Okay.
have Mylars for this, Lori?
I'm sorry?
Do we have Mylars?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
she did it, yeah. Do you want to do the second one too?
No, it's all right. They're both voted on the same. It's fine. 'Cause
So we
they're the
did,
same.
so we did it together.
Yeah, like you said originally.
Just checking.
That's what I think.
As long as you say so.
Well, whatever you guys
Is
say.
there still time to appeal this?
No, no appealing.
No, sorry.
Don't talk about it.
What is that? Some kind of foreign hub?
Well, whenever that little camera on top, look at.
Oh, this one's
It's right on top of you. Don't-
pretty shiny up
Look at
here,
the,
isn't
look
it?
at the side view.
Gotta turn
I
away
try
from
not
the
to.
screen.
If you want to sign the plans
Oh,
that are in front of you,
Yeah,
and then we can pass
Well, why
them
don't we
down and
start?
around
okay.
each set.
Mr. Chairman, are you signing the thing with the chair? Or do you want me?
No, just, I didn't, I wasn't here.
Oh.
You good enough?
Just
Right
check.
for
All right,
quorum.
I signed,
Do I have to match?
What are you doing?
I signed
Do they have to match them all?
The paper plan, is long,
the Mylar.
the Mylar,
The
the paper
Mylar
plans
is
can be
perfect.
signed in sequence, but the Mylar has to full stay. So
Gotcha.
which reminds me, I gotta sign the registry card, right? So good.
It is the 22nd.
Yeah, right there. Can I sign it now while you guys sign that?
Address. Well, tennis stuff, visit. Yeah, I'm always very busy.
Could be nothing left over here.
And then I think we need another, your copies signed too, that you have. We need 4 of these, right? So we're gonna pass this down.
What are you guys doing?
So what they did is they took from this big chunk parcel.
Yeah,
They made this side of the road one parcel
Thank you,
here.
sir.
Right, pleasure.
Oh, there's always proof to
Yeah,
description,
and
yeah.
then they carved this parcel out, but they still left 212.
My memory's house was taken out.
What's that?
My memory's house got taken out and the contents taken a few across.
We'll keep it all. We got one more on this one? We should have one more, but
All right, trust.
I heard you walking in just by the comment.
I told you. I was waiting. I had to put it in my GPS.
yeah. Nope. people look so tan. Tan.
There's no way I look tan.
Not Charlie and
Nope.
Wes. Not Charlie and Wes.
Been in the office.
All right? Last time we met, Wes wasn't here, and you were not here, and Charlie was not here, I don't think, and so we asked Alan to come today, and kind of made sure the full board was here to kind of go over these results.
Yeah. I've been updated. Thanks. It's all good. Happy summer. First full day was today, yesterday.
Yesterday was the longest day of the
First
year.
full day
right?
of summer. so
Longest day of the year, and it's
Solstice.
I thought winter takes 8 months to go by and summer
Yeah.
takes 3.
right.
Option one, you know, still that one. Yeah. Is that the,
Well, that's one I have. I get what I need.
yeah, so you get that.
Skips a generation.
Yeah, might as well make it official. Let me get practice.
Wesley, what's going on, buddy? Busy as always, huh? Hmm? I know, it's crazy. It really is. Hmm?
I'm curious to see how much longer it's gonna last.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
You all set?
You can get
Good
your
luck with everything.
copies, the required copies from Lord.
Speed up the 6-month review. You'll be all ready to go.
Yeah, I'll.
Technically, there's a 21-day appeals period for anybody that wanted to appeal it, but it's not a controversial kind of thing. So, but just say legally, you know,
Yeah.
the 21-day appeal period, I mean, any action the board takes, just, you know,
It did sneak by you.
so don't sweat too much, Jerry.
Okay, no,
One big friendly town around here, you know that.
I'll grab one for polygraph.
Retrievers? Yeah.
Don't read. They don't make you smile, John, so you see.
Right, I know. That was good.
Are you done with both of your hands, or all
Yeah.
down to one?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you did both.
The original, this work with Elsa, right?
Yeah.
Are you guys all done signing right?
Yeah.
Almost?
All right, so. Where are we with Carriage? I know Al is looking for some direction.
Go down
Huh? Yeah,
now? Okay. Al, you want to start or whatever, or where you're at, or what's that, what do you guys want to do?
Well, I guess we'll take over, looking for a forum to get together. We have a good one here.
Yeah.
Ian, the engineer, also down representing to, we've been going through all the things you've asked us. We keep
Yeah.
doing it. I think at this point, I believe we
What we let,
addressed everything.
what we let Wes go through, and if there's any little stuff you can answer, probably. Get this thing
I
wrapped.
do have the engineer on Zoom,
Yeah, okay, that's
in
fine.
case technical information, I
is Ryan the engineer?
yes.
Okay, he's behind us, I see him, okay.
Okay. All right,
Behind
good.
you in front of us.
Okay, we're good.
His name's there.
Name.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Sure. So at the end of April, we had issued our last peer review letter. And then since then, Julian has submitted basically his last technical information regarding drainage to us. We have a couple
Yeah,
minor
Jerry.
modifications. to the, Some of the narrative and also some plans. So Julian had done that.
Okay,
Since then, I also, Lori and I talked, and I sent her over basic items that need to be either waived or conditioned.
Yep.
If the board sees that a positive decision is And then you guys look at it.
Yep.
So I did send her that list.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if she,
Is this it?
I haven't seen, all I know, I printed out mine, but I know mine's in smaller font, so I don't know.
Is that part of the package?
We'll have to ask her.
Yeah, this is the draft notice of the decision notice, the site plan approval draft.
So, yeah, so I haven't seen the draft, but I
Can we-
know,
Can we just go through each of these items? If that's. If it's the same. Lori, is this the same stuff that Wes has?
it's the same,
I had emailed, yes,
so you worked in the
draft.
stuff that we. Could I have an extra copy of that?
I probably do. Take that one, you just need to send out the email that
I can
it's
just
in
grab
there.
mine.
Well, I don't need to follow along, I'll grab hers.
Okay. Because this is all the, this is a summary of all this package.
Yeah, so it's kind of.
Right, so we already seen
Well,
Yeah, you guys are all set.
You're all set.
Lori will
Bye.
tell you.
Take care.
you can't wait 21 days here. It has to be somewhere else.
Bye, guys. Thank
All
you.
right.
See ya. Just because you could see all of us at once, that's the problem.
No, it's good to see you guys in person.
Right?
How long has it been? It's been
Well, it's
forever.
just it's not flash, so it's because you get to see all of us at once.
Oh, yeah. I picked that up on camera.
Yeah, it's okay. We don't have that, just the power service.
So. Under the site conditions,
Yep.
right, the rest of it, the first, A through F looks like
Pretty standard. boilerplate
pretty standard
stuff, yes.
boilerplate stuff, right?
Yep.
So it's under the site conditions. Yep.
We can go with that if you want.
Yeah.
So the first thing I do is, the condition says all manufactured homes shall require public water systems. When a sewage system is proposed, the applicant shall present such evidence as it will show that their waste treatment system is approved by the appropriate department of the town. The Templeton Municipal Light and Water Department, and Templeton Sewer Department should review the design plan for their applicable content, and then it says C section E, which refers back to basically they have to get all the approvals from all the different departments. Sewer, water, because everything's a different entity.
Yeah.
And so it forces them to do that, so they can get a bill from it, which is pretty standard.
We went down and met with sewer.
Yeah, I have their letter actually. I don't know if you-
And I have confirmation from the commissioner that
Good to go. Thank you.
today.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
The next item had to do with
Couple,
offsets. I know your manufactured home zoning bylaw has offset requirements, and so the following will be included on either the property deed or the individual leases. Manufactured home shall not be located closer than 10 feet to the nearest manufactured home and 20 feet from the street. Each manufactured home shall be located with at least a 40-foot setback from any park property, boundary abutting a public street or highway or adjacent property. And so obviously on the exterior of the site, we had some questions regarding if anybody were to put an addition on later on, make sure there was something in their lease or deed, knowing that they have to keep these offsets. Obviously, it's a tight site. How many units do you have now?
16.
16. So the site actually got a little,
but else entity would be still owning the land, so he would be
Right.
first to know anyways to enforce
Yeah,
it
they
as
have
well.
to contact me
Yeah.
as part,
Yeah,
obviously.
and I think that's the biggest thing is if you were to have a sell it down the road or whatever the case is, that's where a lot of that stuff comes into play.
yeah,
And that's where you go into some of the older parks, you see a lot of smaller porches put on that encroach closer to the street or closer to the park.
Yeah.
That's really,
Okay.
yeah, in the next 5-10 years, you probably won't see anything happen because
20 years later.
good, correct, exactly. The next item had to do with so what we talked about is making sure that the developments, roadway, and utilities be privately owned and maintained in perpetuity of the projects. I know as part of the way I think you set up your manufactured home zoning bylaw, it's meant to be an association or however that's set up. But it could
Right
be-
away.
It could be under, it could be an entity that Alan still owns, if that's how he sets it up, or it could be an association.
Yep.
You know, we've seen it different ways, and it's up to Alan to do however he wants to do it, but that's basically the condition is that everything out there is maintained by the home association or Alan, whoever the entity is, but not the town. So that's what that condition is. And I think it actually specifies open space also.
Yep.
Picture the open space. I think you're gonna maintain, you're gonna keep the open space.
Right.
Which I think is good for the town. You get the tax base.
Mhm.
It's not a ton of tax money, but it's better
It's
than the
something-
town taking over that open
Mhm.
space. The next one. Such that the road won't be extended ever in the future. I know obviously the way the plan shows now, there are, I think, 1 or 2 units at the end of the bulb of the cul-de-sac. But the intent is obviously from, somebody to come in, if it's Alan or somebody else to develop any more of the land up back and not be able to extend that road. So that, obviously the dead end road, that the
It's
road is
used.
it's longer than it's supposed to be in the town. But the fire department doesn't have an issue with the way it is right now, but not to extend it further.
Do we have that from the fire department in?
That was verbal. He said it as long as he's following the protocol. in
For
zoning.
and I think for the bulb, he made the
Yeah.
bulb to be bigger, and so that was one of the bigger revisions that was done, is make sure the bulb got bigger, and so that obviously forced the number of units to get smaller too, because it got real tight at the end when they made the bulb bigger.
Okay,
That was something that, kind of a trade-off. there.
that's municipal.
Next item had to do with construction traffic. And so this is something that, I don't know if you can see, it's in a lighter shade there. So we asked if construction time, if there's something that the board and Alan could agree on, that their construction, traffic doesn't interfere with the timing of, the school traffic. This is the proximity to the school. And that's something, I know construction time is typically 7 to 5. How much,
I mean, what time will we run from?
well, you usually go 7 to 5, right? Construction time is typically
Yes.
7 to 5. I think that's typically what the town has put it for.
Yeah, but it's, I don't know, I don't see it being an issue there as far as,
How long is it
it's
gonna
not
take
like
to
you're
develop?
building a monster development.
development,
where-
right.
A lot of people, the problem is in this business, a lot of people are early risers, they like to start at 6, some people.
Yeah,
I personally don't start till late, that's
Yeah.
me,
Right.
but,
Well, I think the standard is. what,
I get no
7 to
slippers
5.
off in the morning, huh? So what do you put in there?
It was more of an issue just to make sure that if you
Not
work,
interfering.
yeah, exactly, with the bus traffic. Because obviously my guess is you're gonna get a lot of traffic for 1 year. Again, it probably take, what, a year to develop the whole thing?
Yes, I'm hoping that it'll actually be, obviously a 2 or 3 months
Quick
to get the
build, yeah.
road in.
Yeah.
And then after that, one thing about modules, you don't have as many people as much,
Right.
because they come in 2 pieces.
And that's,
Yes,
yeah, and that's.
yes, I don't really think it's an
I don't
issue
think-
there, and being at the buses, I mean, I think his neighbor
You can
across the
always
street
leave it.
who
If
has
it is an
a
issue.
great, automotive repair, there's traffic going in and out of there too all day, and I wouldn't
People
really
that
worry
live with
about it.
those things don't want to deal with bus traffic either. They'll be here at
Yeah.
5 in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah,
Driving
so
down
I'd say it's really a non-issue as far as limiting. or
And that's, yeah, and that's, what I said,
hours
we,
wise
I brought up,
myself.
Yeah, I don't think, I don't see.
I brought up the
major-
concern, obviously, it's up to the,
So are you gonna take that out?
Yeah, we don't need to limit
Are
any-
you
any-
gonna line through it?
Any hours of construction,
Is that on the copy?
no, do you, I know in the past you have put hours of construction 7 to 5, are you gonna, you're not gonna restrict that on this one, or?
oh, I think we should, I just don't want to, me personally don't want to restrict what time they come in and out because of school hours. I would say
Yeah.
normal hours, what they normally do is like, if you want to do 6 to 6 during the week and, no time after noon, you have to respect the neighbors as far as, can we get a little bit of quiet here, at least on the weekend? Something like that, but as far as saying, here comes the school bus, shut it down, I just think it's gonna be impossible to
Yeah, no, yeah, well, I think, yeah.
enforce, and the same token, it gives somebody just that stupid little nuisance call to the police department, which is not really worth it, if that came down to it.
School buses really do run at weird times now.
I'd be
Even
worried about
1
this-
o'clock in the afternoon.
I'm more afraid of the school buses than the other way around,
So correct, 6 to 6 on the weekdays. And what?
then like 6 to 12 or something now, is that, like on Saturdays? No Sunday or holidays, that should be a no-brainer.
I mean, we'd be able to show a customer
Yeah.
on weekends, that stuff like that, just no construction.
Yeah,
Yes, for sure, yeah, I think it's usually typically.
like you said with modulars, I mean, it's just gonna be
Yeah.
the actual construction of the road, other than that, the sites are all easy to put together quick,
Yeah, 'cause you're just putting the paths down, right? Okay, next one is a waiver requested for the development impact statement. So it just has to be,
Yeah, that's,
and I don't know, typically, I don't know if you vote for the waivers as you make a decision, right? Is that how you?
I think we just put all part of the conditions in wait and
The waiver, the next one is a waiver requested for the park,
for the what? I'm sorry.
the park or playground. And so you have a requirement that 5% of the area being subdivided is set aside for a park or a playground. And so they're asking for a waiver for that.
We have open space anyway,
I know
so,
there's a
yeah.
fair amount of open space, so I think that was.
Yeah.
And you had already talked about it.
Subdivision containing 10 more lots has to have more than one street, and so that's a waiver they're requesting. Only lanes may be permitted to be dead-end streets, and a lane is defined as only up to 10 dwellings, so that's another waiver to be requested.
Right.
Permanent,
So that's a
water-
little something with the control laws, that's why, so it's just one of those, yeah.
Correct, and the way your regulations are written, refers
Yeah.
to some control law, so it just has to be, so like I said, it's waivers that need to be.
Yeah.
Voted on. Dead-end water mains are not allowed, or shall not be allowed. Easements will be provided if necessary to allow for the extension of looping of water mains to the development, and I know the water.
How did they react to that? What is that?
I
Are they
think
gonna,
they're fine.
We're fine with it.
what
They
is it?
wanted something at the end, a levy at
A
the
blow off
end.
at the end?
We put a hydrant.
Yeah, okay, so they're fine with just deadening, but with a hydrant for
And
it.
I think it's because of
They like the
the
height.
short length of the road.
Well, yeah, well, you don't wanna be, nobody wants to be at the very end, so you want the hydrant at the end to flush it by you.
And the water department's approval letter is.
Yeah, I did see that.
Except the intersection sidewalk should be separated by the required shoulder width, and I know that was something that came up at the meeting before when you voted on some other waivers previously. And so I think the board at the time, it should just be a waiver that's voted on. At the time, the board had agreed to obviously make the pavement width wider, putting the berm in, and then have the sidewalk behind it.
Correct.
That's how it's proposed on the one side there.
Yeah.
There's a waiver requested, and I think you guys are against, not sure if an official vote was done on the monuments being set out there. And so I think the agreement was.
Steel instead of,
Yeah, the agreement was,
Granite.
that everything is set except one property corner, and so I think they agreed to, and actually talks about on the next item, about the property corners being set, and that there's only one corner that needs to be set. So the iron thing needs to be put in the
right,
right front corner of the property, but every other corner has monuments.
Yeah.
And so, it's just like I said, a waiver that you needed to vote on. The next one was just making sure the board sees the copy of the EPA NOI, that was
right.
submitted for and executed in time for construction, which I think you typically have a pre-construction meeting, is that what?
The NOI application is on file with the Conservation Commission, and they are awaiting your decision before they move forward and put him on the agenda.
Right.
Yeah, this is a different, I know, it's the, with the US EPA. And so you will.
It's
see-
electronic filing, so.
Yes, it's, all they have to do is file 14 days prior to construction.
Yeah.
And then,
So we'll
as
just
long
get-
as it doesn't get reflected by EPA, it becomes active after 14 days, if he's gonna disturb more than an acre. And it kind of goes hand in hand with, I know the town has the stormwater bylaw now, that there's no actual permit
Right.
application for, but they did ask for that as part of this.
You should have the stormwater information in the packets.
Yeah. The next item had to do with the stamp on the plan. And so Julian had reached out to the Board of Registration. The Board of Registration had issued a email in reference or in response to Julian and basically put the onus on the board that votes on the project to allow or not to allow.
For the civil?
mechanical engineer stamp the, civil plans. That's how they left it. They didn't want to make a,
A wave.
they didn't want to make a determination. It seemed like
Yeah.
The only, they seem to have gone away from making determinations, and only act on anything if there's a complaint issue to get somebody,
Okay.
is when they get involved, they kind of.
I'm fine with it because, of your capacity of review, so that's me.
And then the last item had to do with landscaping around the exterior of the project, and so I know we talked about that before, about creating the buffer. I know Alan talked about it with, doing something to the fence, or especially, I think,
The neighbors on to the, north,
Talk about
It-
Kings to the left.
it's
They're
really-
Really
it's-
only real
to the
neighbor.
north, yeah.
It's more to the front of the project where, the one house on the right-hand side, it's right there in the front, and then it's right on the left, the Kings, and then I think the Brios have a little bit of area that would show to your
Would
front.
that would show for their house.
Yes, because I think that was. the
Were you
concern.
doing green, were you doing plantings, or you just gonna do fence there?
Well, I like planting
Yeah.
because it just lasts. If you
Yeah.
fences, they get dirty,
Yeah,
they fall over.
they fall
break
over.
down. Even if it's plastic,
Did
I
you
just soon do trees.
Yeah.
Evergreens, pine trees.
did you talk with the neighbors?
I talked to Kings a little bit about it. I didn't talk to him a real lot about it. I said, hey, I'll do what you want. And I think trees are the way to go. She liked that idea. I'll go with trees.
And I think when we discussed this before, I think the board is gonna leave it up to Alan to
Figure
meet
it
with
out.
them out on site. to make
I mean,
sure
I'd
there's
much rather see vegetation there than a fence,
Yeah, and that's what we brought up.
because it'll keep growing versus a fence that's gonna keep falling.
And I don't know if I should ask you this, but, or
Probably
what
not.
the criteria of somebody else in town, but there's an ugly kind of bent up, regular fence that they have, I think, on part of from the road, that kind of blocks where drainage goes through underneath. I was wondering about me putting up just leave that fence there, but right in front of it, put up like a white picket kind of fence or something that would block that ugly fence.
Is
You
it,
don't-
is it town property?
Town's fence.
Talk to Bob Souza.
Yeah, just talk-
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do, just
probably
deal with
let
him.
you-
on
Yeah,
that.
let's deal with
He
him.
lets me put one up.
It's in the town's
Just a
footprint.
little bit ugly, you come up and you see that fence. and-
He may take it down, like, puts it on your property. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Bob's
Do the
good.
fence, just 'cause it looks
He's a
better.
fair guy, there's no doubt about it, so.
And then
On
you
the
have, yeah,
Last item that we just discussed, am I putting the plantings on the actual condition?
Well, it's planting, it's still Al's decision,
So up to Al, okay.
as far as what he decides in the long run. I mean, even Al did it, the plantings definitely go a lot longer.
I've just never done this before, so
yeah, I think, yeah.
I want to make sure I do what you need me to do.
I mean, you can highlight plantings are preferred,
Right.
preferred is the plantings, but not saying he has to put the
Yeah,
plantings.
or some kind of buffer, either, plantings or a fence buffer, whatever the case is, so. And I think he's probably right, the green is probably look better, I think, for everybody involved.
Yeah, don't plant bamboo, it's all gross, right, you'll see nothing.
I was thinking it's like an evergreen kind of a tree.
Yeah, whatever grows fat and fast,
Right.
other than myself.
And that was the last.
So like,
Item.
what other conditions that we already waived? Like I remember the street width being an issue. Did we already waive on
So
that?
that's not getting waived now.
No, wait,
Okay.
it's in the plan.
It's in the plan.
Because you denied that waiver before.
Right,
So
okay.
they updated the plan to.
I
And put
Yeah.
sidewalks, wider streets with the sidewalk,
I wanted to
In the
make
berm.
sure that we didn't.
with the berm. Excuse me.
Cul-de-sac, like I said, got bigger to the requirement. And that's why you look at the number, what was it, 1916?
Yeah,
I think we're at 1916.
I actually like the plan better. I hate losing 3 units, but I actually like the plan better, how it worked with the elevations and stuff.
Yeah, you lost, they lost
Yeah,
retaining
yeah,
wall in
that's
the back.
nice.
That
It's gonna
was-
cost me less to build the road in a lot of ways. Now, that's expensive. I think it's a better plan.
Yeah.
It's a lot of ways.
See, there is a method to our madness.
Yeah, well, I didn't like the 3 lots losing that, but I really do like the plan better.
Well, get
I
it,
think it kind of works out about the same.
if the customer's happy with what they see, the approach and the,
Yeah, it
what
helps.
you're doing helps, makes the sales too.
And gives you a place to put snow too. It's right there. So it kind of adds that, to it, which is nice where you want it at the end, where you have most of the snow. So it kind of works that way. I kind of like
So
that.
are we, you all, that's it, right, Wes? As
Are
far
you
as-
last-
voting
that was
on
the
it
last
as
item.
As a whole, or how does that?
I think we can vote as a whole.
So, with that being said, is there any other questions from the board as far as, to Wes or the applicant on anything?
Just one quick question, the open space, how many acres is that?
15,
15 acres?
they give it, take a half acre or something.
Right, Wes, you good with it as far as? Listen, anything stick out at you? Have you
Just the
changed?
open space, so just to touch on.
Yeah.
And I don't know if, I know it says in your requirements, I don't know if you want to add in there that open spaces
Perpetuity?
Just fall, yeah. Is it open, yeah, open space in perpetuity for the bylaw, whatever it is. just
Yeah.
so- Like I said, the biggest thing is Alan knows the bylaw, but if he sells it someday down the road.
Yeah.
Somebody else.
Somebody
You
else,
get that, Laurie, as far as the open spaces and perpetuity, yeah.
The owner of that.
yeah, it doesn't matter if it changes hand. I know you said they have to come back if they do change hands to the board, just to see the board, but the board could be different too.
Yeah, well, that'll end up, that'll be actually listed, should be actually listed on the deed itself, as far as the open space. That'll be recorded in the conditions. It should actually be mentioned in the language of the deed. Well, the conditions will be attached to the deed, but it needs to just stay that way, like you said, so there's no fault, so, or confusion later on. Yeah, okay. Frank, you got something you
No, we were
said?
talking about.
Oh.
Wes, if I make all the changes, do you look at it again after I'm done?
No, I don't, know.
Okay.
And it's really up to the board if you guys want to vote on it. either
I
tonight.
think we just vote on it tonight.
Yeah, I
and
think,
get it
I think
done.
I mean, everything's been hashed out, so
Yeah.
it's, we're at that point where it's,
So with that being said, I'll entertain a motion of that, if you want to spell it out, Charlie, would the.
Sure. I would make a motion to approve the plans as submitted with the changes that have been worked out between the applicant and peer review,
Okay,
With the waivers as noted.
Yeah.
with the waivers as noted.
yeah, thanks.
Yes.
Do I hear a second on that? Dennis, second that? Okay. Motion made and seconded to approve. Oh, what do we call this place again now?
Here.
Deer Ridge Homes. Is there any other discussion from the board? Okay, we'll just do a roll call. Frank,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Charlie, been a long time.
Yes.
Dennis,
Yes.
what's your name? Mike?
Yes.
Yes, and I vote yes. So you're unanimous. That being said,
Thank you.
we're good.
Same thing.
And we do, there is a provision here for any little typos or anything that we can change anyway, just like any other court of law.
Right.
Like we are.
I will make the changes and I'll get the signatures and then I'll get you your original.
Okay.
Thanks for your
Sounds good. Thank you
patience.
very much.
Yeah, thank you.
So you can let your,
Yeah, it's probably a 21 or something.
you can let Julian know how smooth things go when he's not here. Just kidding, he's a good guy.
I think we should thank you for the patience.
Thank you for your patience.
Well, thank you. I know it's.
Thanks for
I
working through
know,
COVID.
Believe me, COVID, my engineers were so busy because you know how busy it is out there. And to get started, it took a while and everything takes a while. I got it after a while, I just figured it'll happen.
I'm gonna blame COVID as long as I can.
Yeah.
Everybody else is. Yep.
Really, it's the first meeting we've had.
Yeah,
Over a
exactly.
year.
It's
That
been
we could
tough.
actually go to.
You guys think I was kidding when I said I put this in the GPS?
Isn't that crazy though? Like, really, it's been over a year since we've been here.
We have anything else on the agenda? Or we just,
The only thing I had for you guys is I just want to remind you, I had sent emails about tomorrow night's select board meeting.
Yeah.
They're going to be looking at, there was one applicant for the open seat on planning board,
okay,
and they're going to be reviewing it and voting on it.
okay.
And if we can have a quorum at that meeting tomorrow night, great. I will not be there, so.
What time is it
Do we
again?
really even need a quorum? I mean, Dennis said,
There's one other thing, we need to do the committee appointments. So it's just like we can finalize that.
oh, what do we have for committee appointments?
Well, I'd like to continue to be on the CBC. I guess Charlie's on.
Do you have that list, Lori, as far as what needs to be where?
I know CPC is open space one of them.
We can just do it
No, the
next,
open space is, not,
it's a select, been doing the appointments tomorrow night, is what you're saying?
well, no, they were doing it a couple of weeks ago, I think.
Okay.
when they were-
Well, perhaps you can just get the list for the next meeting,
but,
for whatever, planning board, we can put you on the,
Yeah,
Yeah, I think, were you on Emma?
MRPC.
I've been on that, yes. Yes.
I don't know if there's anybody else.
do we know who the applicant is?
There, I do have a copy. Have it in my computer. I did send it to you guys. a few weeks ago when I sent you the first notice
Yeah.
that they were having the meeting.
But do we need a quorum at the meeting to,
If you want to vote on it, which you can attend by Zoom if you prefer.
I'm
No,
actually
you
fine,
don't prefer.
I'm actually fine if one person wants one seat. Jump on board. Won't be a first person to jump right back off once they realize what it's all about, so. Stick them on. I'd be afraid of going here and saying, nah, there was still down one person. I would never say that, but I'm saying hypothetically. So myself, I'm not gonna go because if somebody wants to fill the seat, as far as my vote is,
Yeah.
jump on.
Like, why,
Simple as
that, yeah, why would, I don't recall
We
voting.
used to do it different before. It was
Okay.
up to us. that-
Do you
Okay.
prefer that I do a letter to the selectmen stating that if you want to take a vote tonight, the one applicant,
Right.
if you're good with
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, we don't know. who-
I'm planning on going, so I have no
You're gonna
problem.
represent them?
Sure.
Oh geez, now I gotta go.
I would think.
Right, exactly. I was gonna say.
I vote
could
for,
vote tonight.
I vote for applicant X. I'm good. I don't even care who it is. Seriously,
Do we know who it is?
I can go grab it.
thank him for stepping up, him or her.
Give me 2 minutes. You guys can finish talking about CPC and MRPC.
Yeah, we vote, Dennis for whatever he wants and Charlie will pick up the slack.
There you go. Actually, I'll turn my old emails, just looking.
I was gonna say, I don't recall seeing.
Well, before she gets back in. So we already voted.
I was looking to see if I can go in my emails.
She volunteered position, I mean, she's. imagine
Well, it's a
being-
voted position,
Imagine-
but yes, nice that people step up
Imagine
when
being
nobody votes.
denied for volunteering to sit in the board.
No, Mike, you stepped, were you were rated or you stepped up after the fact?
No, I was, on the ballot.
You were on the ballot? Yeah.
Nice. Welcome
Welcome
aboard.
aboard, welcome aboard.
We're a fun group, really, I swear.
That's it. Good.
The nice thing is we usually always work through our disagreements, most of the time.
All right. There's a lot of editing going on now. So, a lot of stuff to edit out of this meeting. We won't even make the cut.
It's live, there's no editing.
Huh?
It's live.
So I said, then you should know this.
You can't even like. take
Now you
back
tell
what
me.
you said.
Sorry.
Although we should have a mute button.
We should have a-
See you guys in
Let them try to
a,
read that.
couple weeks.
Wes, good to
Thanks,
see
Wes.
you.
You want to be a board member?
You come back in a couple weeks?
Live in the wrong town.
What's next week? You come back in?
No, got anything else going on?
You're gonna miss us when you're gone.
I know.
And actually, I gotta stop in and see you one day.
Where you going?
We're gonna, encourage Al to start off on the wrong foot so we can have you come back in.
Hey, thank you all very much, though. It's nice to
See ya.
meet you.
Hey, take
Nice to
care.
See you guys in person.
All right,
Yes,
guys. Good
you
to see
also.
everyone.
Take care.
Okay, well,
I'm not seeing it.
you don't see it?
I didn't see it either.
You said, I vote. Somebody wants to jump on board,
I agree.
especially without, I mean, you mean it's a voting
Well, it's not like
position.
you have qualifications. It's not like you're like, well, okay, with your qualifications.
Exactly.
You're,
I'm on here, so clearly it's,
all right. I mean, Charlie made it on.
Qualification, none of us would be here.
Oh, we getting all of us. If we weren't incumbents, we'd never get back on. They was supposed to the first one in the line. Nope, I got off all the other committees, everything. Planning board, that's it. Doing capital plannings and all that stuff over the years, you vote, you go, you make the best plan. Town don't wanna pony up any money for anything, it's every year, So I get off everything.
I feel badly. It's just, time commitment. I would love to be more involved and do more stuff. but-
Well, then we had to listen to the BS from the state for all those years about the Fernco up there, the reuse committee and so on and so forth. Oh, yeah, I was on that committee for 10 years. As soon as the state says we're all set. Okay, what do you think we should do up here? On what? The 1 square inch of land that you gave us? Oh, wait, we want that too. That was the biggest smoking gun I ever seen. Bruce Marion, 511 South Road.
I make a motion that we can vote right now.
I mean, we can take a vote of
Bruce Marion.
Bruce Marion, 511 South Road. wants to be on the planning board. All in favor of, it says his experience volunteered was served on the Fitchburg School Committee. To me, he's overqualified. All in favor of recommending Bruce for the planning board, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Welcome aboard, Bruce.
All right, it's a camera, right? You can tell the selectmen we voted them in as long as you're.
Tell us something we will not be attending tomorrow night. We've already took care of their business for them.
We'll take the
So we don't, you won't meet us tomorrow night.
What's that?
I mean, she won't meet us tomorrow night.
No. But
If I have time, I may stop by.
as far as
Yeah,
the positions that we spoke of, unless you have a list, I mean, Dennis is what, open space or something?
Open space.
Open
No,
space,
No,
community
CPC.
preservation.
okay, CPC, and Charlie, you were on what,
MRPC.
MRPC,
Whatever else. needs
the,
to-
one of them, those, the two transportation, wasn't it two transportation ones, and you were on both?
Yeah.
Okay. And there's others, but
And you voted on those?
all in favor of those two taking all those spots? All right,
I-
yeah. they're
Mike,
on
do you want to participate in any of those committees? There are committees that if you wanted the opportunity to participate on, you can. There are others, I think, too, right?
I've never received a list like what.
The best thing to do is if, because there's numerous ones and the selectmen, they just basically shake the list around all the boards, because that's what the format is supposed to be, like capital planning, need a representative from planning or whatever. And
And you're also welcome to just get your feet wet and kind of like learn everything.
there's no,
And then you can,
Yeah, maybe down the road.
Hang a little while and get to it.
but no, a lot of boards, committees, they just, subcommittees, they ask for volunteers from like one aspect of every board. Okay, with that being said, our next meeting's the, what, Lori?
13th.
Okay, your next meeting
July 13th.
is
July 13th, yeah. Second Tuesday would be the 13th of July.
so I will be here on the 13th of July, but I will not be here on the 27th of July, just to let you know. So can we decide if you want to do that in your week?
Will you be here on the 20th of July by any chance? Okay.
I will be gone from the 17th through 31st.
you believe we're
Okay,
gonna shut
well,
the entire town down. though.
whatever
I think
we-
can allow you to.
Where are you going?
What's any of your business?
Beach,
Nice, good for you.
We going?
York.
That's what I thought you
That's
said.
not
You
that
wanted-
far
I
away.
guess it was.
I think you can come back for our meetings.
We can go get you.
You can Zoom, they have internet even though it's up there.
We can zoom from the beach.
Well, exactly. As long as we post it, right?
If you want.
Well, whatever we don't get, if you have anything agenda on the 13th, we'll take care of it and the rest of the world can wait till the 10th of August. For that. It's summertime for us too, right?
Yep.
Actually, the 10th, you guys can have fun without me. I won't be in town. All right, a motion to adjourn,
So move.
all in favor?
Yeah.